The Soybean School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Pride Seeds, High Stick NT, and Cruiser Max Vibrance Beans.
Bern Tobin here for the Soybean School on Real Agriculture, joined by Tenuta, a MAFRA field pathologist. Sir, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you very much for coming out.
Hey, I want to talk about sudden death syndrome. Now, we've talked about this in the past. You've been working on it for many, many years.
Yeah.
Recently, we discussed a new seed treatment that's going to give growers another tool in the toolbox.
Yeah.
But it really does come down to genetics. Starts there.
Genetics starts with most everything when it comes to disease management. Genetics is our foundation. And before we even get there, sudden death syndrome, what a name, eh? Isn't that a catchy name? As you can see with the these plants that we have out here, the plants can die quite quickly, suddenly, and it is quite severe in many cases. But yeah, genetics is key. You can see where in this particular location we're at here, this is one of our evaluation nurseries. And we're looking at different soybean varieties and looking for their performance under some very nice for me. Yeah,
not so nice for other people.
Yeah, nice is always good. You know, we like even disease pressure, and we definitely do have it here for sudden death syndrome. And you can see a very susceptible soybean line here. You know, how does this relate to what growers will see? You know, if you look at your seed catalog, growers get in there, you often will get ratings.
Yep.
How do we develop those ratings, or how do the companies develop those ratings? They evaluate those tests under those varieties under disease pressure. Right. And you can see here's a variety that would score very poorly when it comes to sudden death syndrome. This year it's been hot. We were early, cool, and wet. Ideal conditions for early infection with sudden death syndrome. The colonization occurs very early in the season, then it sits with the plant. Under these stress conditions this year, that allowed the disease expression or symptoms to come out a little earlier. Normally we don't see this severe symptoms till early August, mid-August. We've been seeing SDS symptoms already for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But you can see how a good, effective resistance package could really protect a grower's yield and minimize their losses from a very susceptible, more of a tolerant, still very susceptible to these 2 rows here that would be considered a tolerant variety.
Right. And obviously you're screening new varieties, new tolerant varieties that are showing up in seed catalogs, seed guides every year.
Yes, and we have a number of different companies come out here, provide us with seed. We test it as well, so that we're working in partnership with the Grain Farmers of Ontario, seed companies, and we work very closely with our U.S. colleagues as well. Part of this whole SDS management and communication is through a GFO, Growing Forwards 2 funded project with the North Central Soybean Research Program. So colleagues from Indiana, Iowa State, Illinois, Kentucky, Nebraska, Michigan, and Wisconsin are all working together to help minimize sudden death syndrome to the northern soybean producer, including Ontario.
Right, so the message is, hey, before you start thinking about seed treatments, make sure you got some tolerant genetics.
Oh yes, no, seed treatments are a new tool, a very effective tool that can be added into it. But remember, if you start with a good variety, one that provides some good background, something to build on, those seed treatments and other IPM tools in that toolbox you mentioned can definitely help reduce the grower's risk this year and into the future.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.